Hi, it's Juliet. Today I want to recap what I sewed in the past 3 days. My goal was to sew as much fabric as I could in those 3 days, because I have too much fabric clothes of 3 meters collected. I started with this striped black and white fabric. It's a thick fabric and it isn't that stretchy. But for the first time in so long, I succeeded to extend my pattern on the go to adjust it to my size on the first attempt. Finally, I'm learning. I made this first t-shirt and then I realized it kinda looked like a PJ because of the fabric print and the texture. So I went with it and I made a bottom PJ. I've tried to sew many already, but I still have none to wear because they are all either the wrong size or the wrong fit. Because I'm trying to invent all of my pattern from scratch, there is a lot of try and error. See what's wrong with it, adjust the pattern and start over. This is why I must have made like 25 t-shirts and I still have only 5 to wear. But I'm definitely going in the right direction, learning to create correct pattern faster, which is pleasing to see. After sewing those bottom PJ, we went walking in the forest with my mom, which was super cool because it's autumn. It was all so pretty. I tried to film some of it. Very relaxing weekend. Sewing and walking outside. What could you ask more than that? Then I made another bottom PJ, literally the same. The cool thing with this stripe motif is that the stripes are relatively small enough at least, that I could get away with not matching the prints. That saved me some fabric. And to use the leftover, I sewed one last t-shirt with no sleeve this time. It was the only thing I could fit in what I had left of fabric. I was thrilled to see that by the end of the day I had used up my entire 3 meters of fabric. At night, in front of TV with my mom, I embroidered a doll face because I'm slowly trying to make my first ragdoll. This is the 3rd time I've unsewed her entire face and started over, and I'm finally quite pleased about the face of my first ragdoll. For the 2nd day, I wanted to reproduce the success of the previous day. I took a 3 meters of fabric out of my hold and I started the day by making a t-shirt. I really liked this fabric and I wanted to do things correctly. On this cloth, it would have been very visible if I didn't match the print, so I was careful to match it on every piece I sewed. The first t-shirt had a squared collar. I now have 2 finished patterns that I invented for t-shirts, the square collared one and the double rounded collar one. That's how I called them. In the afternoon, I sewed another square collar t-shirt, and the last t-shirt I sewed with this fabric was a double rounded collar to mix things up. Then I was craving some ambition, to not say I only sewed t-shirt and a bottom PJ for the entire weekend, so I started on pants. That was the first time I sewed a fly front zipper and it did not went well. For those pants, I used a pattern found online for very cheap that did not come with instruction. I tried to figure it out, but clearly it's not going to cut it. For the fabric, I used a high quality fabric that I got for very cheap because it was a small leftovers of the merchant. It was too small to make an entire pants with it, so I bought it to sew muslin with. The pattern originally was too big in some places and too small in others, so I did adjust the fit of the pants and then I transmitted it on the pattern. I'm thrilled that this part I could do correctly. The pants though are way too small because of the belt. I tried to expand it, but it wasn't enough. I didn't have enough fabric anyway. Whatever, because I was mainly interested in the zipper, and it definitely has many flaws. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how I could fix it. Clearly, I cannot improvise a fly front zipper. I'm going to try to find a pattern with explanation for next time. I'm still glad I pushed myself to try something I had never done before. For the final day, I wanted to use one more fabric cloth of 3 meters, so I started sewing this very comfortable purple and white fabric. This time, even if it has stripes, I was hoping that it wouldn't look like a PJ. First, the texture is very different from the first one. It's thin and stretchy, so completely adaptable for a skin-tight t-shirt. Plus, those stripes are purple. I finished the t-shirt and I really liked the result, so I decided to add a white bias on the collar. I struggled a lot with this, and on the first attempt it was quite bad. I really liked the t-shirt though, so I motivated myself to try again by cutting up the first bias and starting over. The second attempt was way better, especially from afar. From up close, it has some flaws, but that was the best I could manage to do, in an inside corner with a stretchy bias and a stretchy fabric. Since the first t-shirt took me like 5 hours to do, for the next one I didn't put any bias on. I made a square collar too, and then after that I made a 3rd and last t-shirt, a squared collar again. And that concluded 3 days of sewing. In total, I used up scraps of a suit fabric and 9 meters of t-shirt fabric. I made 1 muslin pants, 1 long sleeve striped t-shirt, 1 short sleeve striped t-shirt, hello my cat, 1 bottom PJ, another bottom PJ, one long sleeve square color t-shirt, one double round color t-shirt, and one square color t-shirt of this fabric that I really like. So I'm really happy about this. And then finally, the last print I used, one square color t-shirt, one square color t-shirt with a bias, which took me so long to do, but I'm very pleased with it. And the last one square color t-shirt. That's it for me. Bye!